Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we are back with the finale of technically Season 2, although it's really only Season 1 of our MotoGP 24 Let's Play. Yes, we have returned here to the Gran Premio Moto del Comunitat. Valencia. We're in Valencia. We're at the Ricardo Tormo circuit, I believe, ready for the season finale. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from Sepang, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Because I'll be honest, as we head into the season finale, for us personally, not a lot can happen. We are still P4 in the championship. We can't come any higher. We can't finish any lower. It's locked in. It's done. It's decided for us. As is the championship in Moto3. Taio Furusato has walked away with the crown there. Suzuki and Esteban, they're tied though heading into this final round. There is still a fight for P2, as well as a bit further down the order between Rueda, Alonso and Colin Vaya as well, trying to fight for P5. Taking a look at the other championships though. 16 points in it now between Tony Orbolino and Gura as well there. So technically we've got a three-way scrap in Moto2. And then if we take a look in the MotoGP calendar as well, we've actually got a four-way title decider between Jorge Martin, who's got an 11-point lead over Bezzecchi, with Jack Miller and Brad Binder basically needing a lot of luck for it to go their way as we head into the final round of the season. So looking forward to it. Like I said, for us, the pressure is off, and of course, basically now, we're just trying to prove ourselves to a Moto2 team that we are worthy of a ride next season. Having a look at some of the other riders, we've got Colin Vaya sending us quite a nice message, so I guess we'll stay civilized with him there as well. But yeah, let's head then here to Ricardo Tormo, final round of the season. It has been a very up and down campaign, but I've had a lot of fun, so yeah. If you're new, get yourself subscribed. We're trying to hit 3k subs. Let's do this thing.
Good morning from Valencia. Here we are again from the circuit where the second practice session is about to begin. The session will be important both to test the race pace and to book a place in Q2.
I remember last season here, we ended up having actually quite a chaotic race. There was changeable conditions, red flags, and I tried to serve a long lap penalty that genuinely took me about 10 attempts. But yeah, we have obviously got a lot better on the game since then, and I'm looking forward to returning here for another season finale, of course. I'll be honest, when we got to this venue last season, you know, I kind of didn't really know, to be honest, whether we get another championship done. But yeah, I'm still having a lot of fun with this game. I feel like, you know, between this and F1 Manager, you know, we're doing some good fun stuff still with this channel right now. And, you know, this is definitely a series that I want to try and get right to the top. And, you know, maybe when MotoGP 25 releases, obviously we'll have a go with that game as well there. But yeah, it has been a lot of fun this year. I need to go back to WRC as well when I've got a little bit more time. But yeah, good fun has been, you know, had throughout this first season. Whether we move up to Moto2 or not is a very different question. I don't know whether we'll find out in today's video. But yeah, obviously this series, you know, will be returning very, very soon anyway, whether we find out today or not. Ricardo Tormo, though, I still absolutely believe is weirdly one of the most difficult circuits on the calendar. So difficult to try and get the bike dialed into a lot of these braking zones. But hopefully, yeah, with more practice laps under our belt, and obviously a lot more seat time now on the game, we're going to struggle, hopefully, a bit less than we did last season. As we're going to finish off our first run then. It's not the longest track in the world either. I think where it folds in on itself a lot, I feel it's a lot longer. 1:44.0, immediately a tenth slower than Holgado. I'll say, I've seen a little bit of footage from the Moto2 bikes as well, and they might be, you know, they're going to be a huge step up for us. They're incredibly quick in a straight line, but as far as I gather, they don't have a lot more cornering potential. You know, they're kind of in that weird kind of middle ground where they've kind of developed some of the power from MotoGP, but haven't really quite caught up with the aerodynamics yet. I don't know whether as well, I know obviously you've got various different teams, so I don't quite know whether there's like a development war like you obviously get in MotoGP as well, a bit like Formula 1 against Formula 2, for example. I'm not suggesting that Moto2 is a spec series, but I don't know obviously if it's anywhere as close as, say, Formula 2 would be, or whether it kind of leans more the same way as Formula 1. Hopefully you guys know what I mean. You've been giving me so much helpful advice and tips as well, and information that has been greatly appreciated. As immediately, second lap, we go quicker than Joel Esteban, which I'm happy about. While following Scott Ogden then ran down in towards the final sector. For Sato, the surprise of nobody, has gone top of the board at the moment on a 1:42.9. I think if we can just get inside those 42s as well, which as long as I don't mess this up, we should do, might see ourselves straight into Q2. As yeah, we're definitely getting more up to speed with this circuit as well. Try and put the power down out of that final corner, try and get a bit of slipstream from the number 19 rider up towards the line. It is going to be a 1:42.6, 3/10 clear of Tayo. Hopefully that's a straight through. Well, there we go then. End of free practice done and dusted, and we did stay fastest on the board there, but the likes of David Alonso and Colin Vire got pretty close towards the end of free practice here. But yeah, we're the one carrying confidence as we move into real qualifying. You can see Ricardo Rossi there just snuck into Q2 immediately. A couple of big names though out in Q1. Angel Baqueras, Adrian Fernandez, probably two of the bigger names. But yeah, now we've got to try and get back-to-back poles. Well, I'd be interested to know as well, obviously, I'm expecting the higher classes races to take longer, but I don't know how much longer. Some of you guys have asked me to up the race length in this series. I kind of was a bit reluctant, because I didn't know, obviously, whether MotoGP or Moto2, you know, whether their races are going to be, you know, kind of 25 minutes, half an hour. These races tend to only be, like, 15, 20 minutes, unless we, you know, I think Motegi was one of the worst ones we had this year. And that was mainly because, obviously, everyone kept falling off repeatedly. But yeah, like I said, we'll see kind of how long the races are in Moto2. If they're still a bit too short, then I will up the race length. But ultimately, I do like the fact this series is kind of more shorter videos, more kind of sprint style. It works quite nicely. It allows me to record them a bit more regularly. And it's just nice for a bit of a change as well from, like, F1 and F1 Manager. Make our way then through the final couple of corners. I find this is definitely a track where I like to follow the AI. You know, just have a better idea that I'm tipping the bike in at the right places and everything like that. And I tell you what, as a first lap, a 42.7 is not a bad benchmark there. Quicker than anybody managed in free practice, with the exception of myself. So yeah, as a first lap goes, I don't think we can really complain. That line down in turn 1, though, a lot more shaky. And again, a bit like at Sepang, I'd be intrigued to know just how much quicker we are now around a circuit like this, especially one that is a bit more intricate, is a bit more difficult, you know, especially in some of the braking zones. I remember how much we struggled last season trying to get the bike slowed down into, like, the final corner, and, well, pretty much into any corner around this circuit. As well, so far, yeah, that first lap actually might have been a better benchmark than I realised. We're actually half a tenth down. This corner as well, I always remember being lethal. And that time we'll brake just a little bit too late on the way in. But it might allow us to switch Farioli on the exit. Such a beautiful flowing circuit, though. It is good fun on a bike. You know, I'd love to take this place on in a Formula 1 car. As we'll switch Farioli, get down the inside. And hopefully that's a bit more traffic left not to deal with. And there we go. Immediately, Tatsuki Suzuki just reminds me why he is champion this season. Goes 0.03 of a second quicker. Sorry, for Risato even, isn't it? Down in P3. Tatsuki Suzuki, he's sort of trying to fight for P2 in the championship. I think had he not been unlucky on a couple of occasions, I know we fell off colliding a couple of times with him earlier on in the year. I think he more than would have been a, you know, a threat to Risato. Just a lot of things didn't quite go his way. But to finish off the year, I'm sure he'd love to lock down that P2. Come on, one more corner to go. We're another quarter of a second up. We've just got to try and get the power down on the exit. I mean, it is a lethal final corner, not only, you know, for this track, but in the entire season. You know, I compare that to Formula 1. The final corner at Abu Dhabi is a piece of cake, but 42.2 is the new fastest time on the board. I got no idea whether that's going to be good enough to see us on pole, but I'm going to try and chase a 141. Well, we saw in Sepang, your top four in the standings had such a clear advantage come the end of qualifying. Maybe we'll see the same today. It is once again myself, Suzuki, Furusato and Esteban at the front of the order, but we are 4/10 up already on the advantage that I've got. We throw away a little bit of time through the third last corner, but as we try and round our way through this long double left-hander even, chuck it into that apex, get the power down on the exit. Surely this is going to be enough to put us comfortably on pole position. We're going to be into the 1 minute 41s. It is going to be a 41.834, half a second clear of Suzuki. Show me back-to-back pole positions game. Well, there we go. Colin Vire in the end. We did get pole, but it wasn't by anywhere near as much as I thought it would be there. Vire in second, ahead of David Alonso. Rueda all the way up in P5 there, just behind Tatsuki Suzuki. Furusato, only good enough for 7th. Joel Esteban, only down in 11th place there, between Joel Kelso and Riccardo Rossi. So there's a very high chance he's going to get taken out on lap 1. But yeah, we line up on pole for the final race of the season. But that is quite a mixed up grid.
Good morning from Valencia. We're live in Spain and ready to bring you the Valencian Grand Prix. In a few moments, we'll move to the main straight to watch the start of the Moto3 race. As you can see, we're heading to the starting grid where everyone is ready for the start of the race.
Well, here we are then down on the circuit. We've got to try and get a big result. We've got to try and at least get a top 5. And also, the team have told us we need to try and beat Joel Esteban as well. Maybe we're in a fight with him for a Moto2 seat somewhere up or down that roster. But for the final time then, this season, maybe ever, in Moto3, we are ready on the grid. Let's do this thing. Soft tyres front and rear. I am looking forward to this.
Riders in position, the green flag waving at the back of the field. Maximum focus now. Only a few seconds before the start of the Valencian Grand Prix.
Well, VR46 they're watching on in the background, or at least his mural is. But ready then with those 10 red lights on the grid, here for the season finale. And it is going to be lights out, and away we go then. Not the best start in the world. You can see Colin Vire and David Alonso immediately will try and get a run on me, so we'll tire Furusato. Well, we'll just box him out down in towards that first corner. How aggressive are the AI going to be? We find an avenue down the inside, and immediately we've got riders off. No idea who. We'll get confirmation of that in just 1 second there, but carnage at the first corner, as you would come to expect. People, I mean, the AI is so aggressive through that first turn, and it is Angel Paqueras, and that's not Rueda, is it? Someone else. I think it's Rowson or something? That's the other thing I'm worried about moving up to Moto 2. I've barely learnt the names of all the Moto 3 riders. I'm going to struggle to learn even more names inside this game there. But Colin Vire, haven't seen him win that often this season as more dive bombs coming in. But he's leading the way then as we make our way out onto the back straight there. We're still battling with Zuratuza for that P3. Is almighty aggressive down the inside there. Sent it over the curbs. And Zuratuza clearly unfazed by that, because he'll immediately try and look back down the inside of me there. It is wheel-to-wheel racing early on here. Well, again, trying to look back down the inside. Nope, not on the grass, please. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. And we find the barrier, and that is a big problem on lap 1. Now we've got a lot of work to do. We're going to be all the way down to P22 in this race. And yeah, really not the lap 1 we would have needed there. It's not the first time I've bottled it on the opening lap of a race, but it's certainly the most frustrating one I've had so far this season. I've seen plenty of other riders pick up track limit, violations and warnings and everything like that. We could see a few riders have to take long lap penalties by the end of the afternoon. Are we going to get dive bombed again? Yes, we are. I mean, look how aggressively they go into turn 1. Part of it's just a little bit ridiculous. There's a part of me as well, though, that quite likes the fact, the AI are ever so slightly unhinged on this game. It gives me a good excuse to return the favour to them. It's down the inside of a couple of riders up at the top of the hill. Now I'm trying to get the run then on Angel Paqueras as we make our way up in towards the next corner there. I mean, it seems like the AI at the top of the hill as well. Very, very aggressive. We'll see those two battling each other, and we will say thank you very much and move up into P16 there. We've got another one. I think, is that Bomb, is it? I can't remember. Picking up more and more warnings there. At least his second, and you can see the number 5 rider just in front of me. I've definitely noticed it before. I've never thought about the numbers in MotoGP, so I apologise if I end up calling him Sebastian Vettel or something like that there. But leaders aren't that far away. Well, less than 4 seconds behind Joel Esteban as well, who's trying to move his way back up. So we could still definitely beat him by the end of the race, as long as I'm not too aggressive over the curves like that. Esteban, he's all the way back up to P3. How on earth has he done that from 11th on the grid? Fair play to him, and clearly doesn't want to give up. In fact, yeah, at the moment, if things were to end now, he would beat Suzuki. in the championship standings still. So they are battling wheel to wheel on the road, clearly. Because as soon as I say that, Suzuki's moved back through. But yeah, we're about 4 seconds off our leaders here. But we know we're quick. While claiming a couple more places then at the top of the hill, as more and more riders there, yeah, just seem to really unsettle themselves. I mean, we gained nearly a second through turn 1 against everybody else here. I mean, the rest of the lap, they're pretty good. So that might explain why we end up with such an advantage in qualifiers. I mean, look at that! It's the final race of the year. You'd think people would start being a bit kinder to each other. But clearly, temper's at an all-time high for a lot of riders here. Everybody desperate for a few final points in the standings. But yeah, Esteban now, that gap cut down to 2.6. But I think he's dropping back down the order. Come on then, let's try and have a look down the inside of Ortega. Yep, we'll just about make that one happen. Sorry, Ortiz, isn't it, I think? Can never remember their name. There's a couple still that absolutely give me a mental block inside this game. But we're back up into 12th place then. Scott Ogden not too far in front. Can never work out whether he's been any good or not this season. He's either seemed right at the back, falling off, or like nicely tucked up towards the front of the midfield. It's very peculiar. But not even halfway through this race yet. But I don't know. Yeah, we got 5-second gap back to our leaders. So I think Furasato has worked his way to the front and he's just starting to flex his pace. Because again, Scott Ogden there. Oh, we'll give him a little bit of a push up the hill apparently. We'll try and have a look down the inside. Nope, he's going to chop me off there at the top of the hill. I mean, we've got a big gaggle of cars just in front. Up into 11th. Then we've got Fernandez and Joel Kelso next up. So yeah, I'm not surprised that obviously Joel Esteban wanted to get away from those two. Fernandez isn't too bad. It's Ricardo Rossi that still this year has consistently proved himself as the one you want to avoid. Never will I forget that move he tried to pull off at Assen. That just absolutely did not work. But yeah, the AI seem to be a little bit reluctant there to try and get the run up the hill. Maybe that's why. That might be our first warning of the day. Might get away with it. Down the inside of Angel Paqueras. Thank you very much. There's Joel Esteban then. So yeah, he has dropped way back down the order. We'll try and use Joel Kelso just to slow us down a little bit as well. The number 66 rider has certainly had an up and down season. But yeah, it does seem to have found a bit more consistency as we get towards the end of it there. Is how many more warnings can Baum get there? It's got to be, like I said, at least his 3rd or 4th in this race. Just cannot find the apex through that final corner. Try and get a nice run off it. But at the moment, we are half a tenth away from Furasato's fastest lap. But annoyingly, he is still pulling away from me in this race. We've got to try and get around the outside of a few more riders. I feel like in clear air, we could have the pace to challenge him. It's through turn 1. That'll be another freebie gained. Maybe we'll get another one there as my teammate Holgado trying to keep Joel Esteban at bay. Yeah, the field just starting to spread out a little bit more than later on in this race. Again, that's one of the good things about these kind of more sprint races. Apart from, you know, like Sepang last time, most of the riders do stay pretty well bunched up throughout most of the event. So we're going to try and look around the outside of Joel Kelso. Can we find the grip to go the long way around there? We almost made it happen. Not quite able to that time round, but we might be able to try and switch him on the exit. Not with a line like that, running way too wide through. He will open up the second part of the corner. Maybe using Ricardo Tormo's extra runoff to our advantage there slightly. You know, it's not like, you know, Malaysia or something like that where there's plenty of runoff everywhere. But we're back up into 8th. I would love a podium at the very least here. I feel like that's what we deserve. But yeah, Furasato just opening up the gap at the front. Well, Holgado has been a decent teammate as well this season to learn a lot from, but I'm happy overall that we've quite comfortably in the end got the better of him. Maybe, like I said, Red Bull. And obviously, I think they've got at least 2 teams in pretty much every single moto class. Maybe they'll want to try and bump me up but keep me within the Red Bull kind of... Is there like a Red Bull motorbike program? I would assume there is. I got like... They used to have... I swear there was an entire Red Bull series inside the MotoGP games as well. Like the Red Bull Rookies, I want to say. Maybe I'm just remembering that wrong. Or I've just unlocked a core memory from years ago of playing MotoGP games, but... Yeah, at the moment... Oh, come on. Joel Esteban trying to look back down the inside there. They will be more aggressive with you if they know you're in the race rivalry with each other. And it looks like his P2 in the championship is just coming away from him. Oh, here we go. 2 more laps. Holgado, big send down the inside of Stefano Neppa. Neither of them are going to get it stopped. So, yeah, we'll say thank you very much again then. I feel like I'm trying to outbrake myself into turn 2 there. I was clearly braking too early that time round. because Nepa's just going to move me. Said I do like the fact the Moto3 riders seemingly are all unhinged. Like I said, it allows me to kind of return the favour to them a little bit, as we're immediately going to try and do down the inside of Nepa once more. The elbows are out, the gloves are still on, but they're off metaphorically. Starting the final lap then here, and I mean, I want to take a look at Taio Furusato lap times, because he set, I think, at least 3 PBs this race, all of which have been within 100th of a second of each other. Trying to get the slipstream on 0-2s down into turn 1, but we know the AI will brake too late there, and we know immediately that we'll get the freebie as well. Colin Via still up in that P3 final podium place, but I can't help but feel like, based on the season we've had, I feel like we deserve that last podium spot, surely. It's been such an up and down campaign, but it has been good fun. And I think if we can get a podium, it goes to show that although we haven't been able to, we probably had the pace to keep up with, you know, Joel Esteban and Tatsuki Suzuki over the course of the season. But that being said, though, I think it is incredibly fitting. Final round for Furusato, able to lead this one, you know, pretty comfortably in the end. Had a bit of a rough qualifying, moved his way to the front early on. Currently still has fastest lap of the day, and I'm hoping we can snooker that away from him on this last lap. But ultimately, yeah, the Japanese rider has just been that bit more consistent than everybody else, has kept himself out of trouble even on his bad weekends. He has normally been able to still get a big result out of that bike there, and yeah, I'm sure he'll be moving up to Moto2 next season. I don't believe they have a rule in MotoGP like there is in the junior formula category of if you're champion you can no longer race. But either way, he deserves to move up anyway. There is one more corner of the season to go after this one. We are so close to Colin Via and David Alonso. Are we going to see any more aggressive sends coming in? Or trying to have a look around the outside of Alonso. They're not quite able to find the grip, though. At the final corner, it's going to be a slipstream battle to the line. Will Alonso be able to get Via? No, he won't. It is P5.
As the riders return to the pits, let's take a look at the final results of this Moto3 race.
Well, we absolutely obliterated that fastest lap there right at the very end. The 41.4 was a very, very good time there. But Furusato, easier champion, easier winner. He absolutely deserved it there, and what a race it was by him. A Japanese 1-2. We saw it a lot earlier on in the year, but they have returned to the front there. Ahead of Colin Via, David Alonso, and myself, all three of us covered by less than, well, over a tenth of a second come the line there. Joel Esteban, a bit of a disappointing end to that final race in P6, but he did set the second fastest lap as well to showcase his pace there. And as we stroll further down the order, I believe it was only the 2 riders that failed to finish. Carraro, and there we go, Riccardo Rossi as well took himself out on lap 1. In terms then of the championship, Taio Furusato breaks the 400-point barrier with that win. Suzuki does beat out Joel Esteban, and Colin Via, that podium was critical in the end, because it means he beats out both Rueda and Alonso by just a single point there. Ties as well further behind, Ortoda and Zuratuza on 118 apiece, with Nepa and Holgado 2 points between them. Riccardo Rossi just ahead of Joel Kelso, who gets the jump on Ralston. And then down the bottom of the order there, Almanza, Batelli, Boussery, and Detweiler all failing to score a point this season. Constructors-wise, we did end up in P3 there. We just held off ahead of M-Lab after a long battle throughout the season with Red Bull, KTM, Aho. But yeah, thank you everybody so much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed. We're going to be back early next week then with the start of Season 2, where maybe, just maybe, we've got ourselves a Moto2 contract.